Hello everyone, Tony here bringing you a new Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile video. Yeah, I know, it's been a long time. I did upload a few box openings, those didn't do so well, so I decided to come back to the deck profiles after, break. It's been a while. But my last few videos when it came to deck profiles has done well, so I appreciate you guys for watching. Today we're doing Adamancipator. This is one of the bigger decks that I came back to when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again. It's a lot of fun, a lot of combos, a lot of end game board potential. So with that, we'll get into it. It's nothing like special. There's no hidden text in here really. It's just a lot of abuse for bigger boards, and we'll go through it together. I'll tell you some of my combos, and hopefully you'll find this deck to be both fun and competitive, right? So we're gonna start off with the basic stuff. 3 Adamancipator researches, 3 seekers, and 3 analyzers. Those are always a given. Each of them has the ability to search for the top 5 cards of your deck for a rock type that's a non-tuner monster and special summon it. So they create their own extensions and give you a different pathway to linking, to synchroing, and even exceeding, right? So these are always going to be these numbers, although I do see some people play 2 analyzers, but I personally like 3 of each to make sure I see them. A brief thing on them though. Researcher, if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon it. Seeker, if you control another Adamancipator monster, you can special summon him. And Researcher, if you control another rock monster, you can special summon her. So they have many ways of expanding your plays and extending your turn to create these monstrous boards. I have tested this deck for a long time against a few of my friends, and of all the decks that I do have, this is probably the one they fear the most. 3 Quokka Mirror Suppliers. More extension gives you search when you special summon him by a card effect. When a Mark monster leaves the field, you can special summon him from your hand and then search for a Quokka Mirror card not named Supplier. So you're always going to search for Guardian. Guardian gives you a little bit of a floodgate if you decide to leave him on the field. He also can act as a piece to extend your play further. 3 Parallel Exceeds. Most of the time, the first thing you're going to do with this deck is link into Halki Fibrax. And he's like a perfect card to come down because he comes down as a level 4. I played 3 because I want to like maximize my odds of seeing him, but even if I don't see him, the deck plays perfectly fine without it. It also helps that he's a wind attribute, so I can use Raptide's effect actually, which is something that was only doable before with Martial Meta Marcher with the way that I used to play this deck, but with Land Cross getting banned, I've been tweaking this deck a lot because I had like 4 spaces in my extra deck that I needed to address before playing it. 3 Ash Blossoms, probably the best hand trap in the game. Now this section right here is a lot of one-ofs. Oh, just a note on Ash Blossom, she's a fire type, so Leonite actually gets his effect too, thanks to that. So if you wind up having to use her, that's nothing but a plus in the long game and the short game. But yeah, back to this section of the deck is a lot of one-ofs. So these cards are really good when you get them, and if you don't get them, then a lot of times it's really not going to affect you in a negative way. So Chinese Spirit, Adara, you really just use them to set up Halki Fibrax, right? If you control no effect monsters, you can special summon them from your hand. So a lot of times if you open them with them, just special summon him, and he starts your playoff for Halki Fibrax. 1 Fossil Dynapatch Cephalo. This is normally a Miracle Rapture or Rupture, we'll see the card later, or Foolish Burial target. And I normally bring them back on my opponent's turn with Leonite to kind of block my opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a very arrogant card to play. It's a nice tech to have in his deck too. 1 Maldolchi Petting Concierge? I don't even know. Petting Cessure. That's a weird name. Anyway, when you control no monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon her. So you open up with her and Adara, and that gives you a free Halki Fibrax without having to use any of your rock monsters, which is amazing, and you still have your normal summon. 1 Adamancipator Crystal Dragite. This is the only one of the 3 that lets you draw cards. I used to play 2, now I just play 1 because I have other methods of getting water monsters into the graveyard, but when you get it, great. Drawing cards is always good, right? Revival Golem, I hate this card because for some reason I tend to draw him in 90% of my games. In the games that I don't draw him, he's a great extender with Foolish Burial or Miracle Rupture. Red Eyes and Dark Magician because I'm obviously going to be playing Verde and Dragoon because Dragoon is awesome. Verde helps me abuse Dragoon. One place for the zombie, he's normally a target for Halky Firebrax. However, if I wind up not seeing any of my Adamancipator monsters, they will take his place. Tackle Crusader, if you go second, this card is kind of dope because you could book one of your opponent's monsters, like, without having to actually play Book of Moon. So, it's really a nice disruptive card. He's really just in there for that. One, Doki Doki. I used to play this card at 3, then at 2, now at 1. Doki Doki's great when you get it, but when you're kind of stuck with it, he's kind of butt. Playing him at 1, if I pull him off with the Adamancipator card, then like it just helps extend my plays further. So that's all he's really here for, extension, right? One Red Eye Fusion because of playing Dragoon. One Call by the Grave because I don't like seeing other hand traps. Please put this to the 2. One Monster Reborn because I like extensions. One Miracle Rupture because Foolish Burial at 2 is awesome, and this is a Foolish Burial for rock monsters. One Foolish Burial to set up my graveyard with stuff that I want to see. And 3 Adamancipator Signs because it acts as a pseudo Monster Reborn specifically for rock monsters. And you can special summon the Synchros with this as well. So if I wind up using a Leo Knight with like, you know, for a Synchro or a Link monster, I can bring them back with this and then still have the effect to special summon a rock monster from the graveyard. And I do play one Adamancipator Resonance. This card is totally replaceable with something like Solemn or, well, any Solemn really. Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment. I just really play it because if I do get a Dark Ruler No More, or if I do get hit with like a Forbidden Droplet, if they don't discard a trap card, this is the only thing that like I have that would be able to respond to that, right? So that's all the monster spells and traps. Now the extra deck. I'm playing one Risen Dragite, right? Because he gives you pseudo negation, and he continues the expansions of your plays because all the synchros, excuse me, also have the ability to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, special summon a rock, except that they can summon the tuners. So keep that in mind when you're using these skills. So he's negation. He brings back up rock monster, and it's a quick effect, so you can do it on your turn and your opponent's turn. So the Pachycephalo, you could definitely use in combination with him to block out your opponent's stuff on their turn. And Riptide is also disruptive. If you have one monster in your graveyard, you can remove an opponent's monster only, or is it card? Oh, you can remove a card from their graveyard. So if you're playing against like an opposing like Dark Magician player and they play Soul Servant, you can just get rid of the Soul Servant, no drawing for them. Borreload Savage Dragon because negation is fun and I don't like letting my opponents play Yu-Gi-Oh! Nocturia Beast because negation is fun and I don't like letting my opponents play Yu-Gi-Oh! Gallant Granite gives you a search to help expand plays. He also is the only target for Zeus. 2300 attack, so it's not like you're going to be swinging with nothing. He has a decent attack, so that lets you end your turn with Zeus. Zeus is a really strong card because your opponent has to kind of build up to beat him up. He's 3000, 3000, so you bring him out in defense mode. Your opponent can't lightning storm him that way, and if they try to beat him up, you just blow up everything. So Zeus is a really, really good card for that reason. One IP Masquerena because she gives me access to Mega Knight Crusader Abramax, and these two together with all the field negation is really bad. Most of the time, my board will tend to end with these two on the field, so that way on my opponent's turn, I can bring this guy out and protect my field further. One Predaplant Ready Anaconda for Dragoon purposes, one Halky Firebrax to help me thin my deck. And these last 3 slots are really just flex picks. You can really put whatever you want here. I like Axis Code Talker, Nightmare Unicorn, and then, you know, Phoenix gives me an additional fire type in case I don't get Ash Blossom. I can force a fire type into the graveyard. And then, of course, Dragoon, right? So this deck can really expand on a lot of stuff. Wow, I blazed through this profile. This deck can expand through stuff. A lot of times, you know, you can probably just start with like any of the tuners. Any of the tuners gets you any rock monster and just explodes into a field. And most of the time, I'll end my turn with like two synchros, Dragoon, the IP Masquerena, the what's his name, the Verde Anaconda, and then it'll go right into Abramax with Dragoon, and then 2 negations with the Borreload and the Dragite, right? So there's a lot of promise in this deck. There's a lot of strength in this deck, but at the same time, there are going to be times where you kind of just excavate into like breaking this, and that's why more people play like a lot more of the rock types. But playing it like this just allows you to kind of like combo more efficiently and keep up with other like decks that are faster. I absolutely love this deck, and I advise anybody that can get their their hands on these cards to try it out. I think the only thing that's gonna cost you a lot in the main deck is probably Researcher. Dragoon keeps going up. I wish they would reprint the tins in some fashion so that way more people have access to this card. This card is amazing. But yeah, that's it for my deck profile. I want to thank you guys for watching my videos for the amount of time that you have. I appreciate every view I get. If you like what you see, please leave a like and subscribe. I will be doing more content soon, hopefully sooner than later. I do have another deck I'm working on right now, and I have a Eldritch the Golden Lord on the way to me, so I can finish that deck up and show you guys what I've been playing as kind of like a flashy, showy deck. But it's probably not really that good, but it's really expensive. All right, thank you. Bye bye.